The new Valentino Uomo Born Roma Purple Melancholia versus SWY Iced Cologne versus Armani Stronger with You Powerfully. Three fragrances that I recently bought, but which of them is my absolute favorite? I got this question and I knew this one would be a tough one to answer, so I just had to do this video. And the reason why it is a tough one to answer is because these three are so different. I'm gonna quickly go over each scent in this video, as I've already done more full in-depth videos of them all. And you can find links to those videos in the description below. So check those videos out if you want more on each. I do like them all and they have all grown on me quite a bit in a very short time. So let's quickly go over what each scent smells like, why I like it, and then rank them from my least favorite to the one I think is the best. So let's start with SWY Iced Cologne. To me it's almost like they took a bit of the mint from SWY or Fresh and made it a bit brighter and definitely a bit sort of a greener, and mixed that with a slice of the freshness from Y Eau de Toilette. And like a lot of the other ones in the line, it does have a bit of soft woodiness in the dry down. Y Iced Cologne is basically an intensely aromatic and green kind of freshness that sits on top of a bit of what I think is quite a soft kind of woodiness, and the whole thing got a bit of soft amberness to it. The opening of SWY Iced Cologne is a gorgeously fresh one, and I do think that if you put your nose to some of the other fresh ones in the line, you will get the sort of a same feel, in that it just feels fresh in such a nice way. There's a bit of a twist to it here, but there's also quite a bit of familiarity here, and this definitely smells like a Y scent. My main issue is the same that I mentioned in my full video on it. The main star of SWY Iced Cologne is it's sort of a minty and green kind of freshness, and that part unfortunately goes quite soft in the dry down. So I do feel the need to reach for the bottle after like a couple of hours to get a new dose of that fantastic opening. Y Iced Cologne is really not a complex scent, and I do feel this is for someone who usually enjoys quite intensely bright and fresh scents, and someone who usually likes the SWYs. So let's move on to Armani Stronger with You Powerfully. Powerfully to me is almost like they took a bit of the vanilla from Stronger With You Parfum and added a bit of the sweetness from Stronger With You Intensely, and then added a dose of fruitiness and sweetness from cherry, and there's also a bit of nuance to its sweetness since I get a sugary kind of feel from it. It definitely has a bit of that classic Armani Stronger With You duo. Of an aromatic side, in here it's lavender with its brightness and freshness mixed with vanilla and a dose of sweet cherry. The main star in Armani Stronger With You Powerfully is that cherry. It's really that cherry that sets it apart from the other ones in the line, but unfortunately it loses some of that magic in the dry down as the cherry gets softer. And again, there are some similarities to other Armani Stronger With Yous for sure, without a single doubt. But as long as the cherry is there, I do feel it brings something new to that DNA. And to make this super simple, Armani Stronger With You Powerfully is basically for someone who loves that sort of a core Armani Stronger With You scent and wants that DNA with a dose of cherry. So let's move on to Valentino Uomo Born Roma Purple Melancholia. I said this in my full video and I still feel the same way. Purple Melancholia is really not a complex scent. Purple Melancholia opens up with what I think is quite a smooth dose of spicy warmth. It does have at least a little bit of the lavender that we've seen in some of the previous releases. And that part definitely, at least to my nose, brings to the whole thing a bit of familiarity. However, I also feel the lavender in here smells a bit different if you compare it to some of the other ones. And the more it moves away from the opening and into the heart of it, the more I feel quite a creamy dose of coconut starts to take over the entire thing. The dry down is basically a super creamy dose of coconut with a bit of sweetness together with a bit of the freshness from lavender and a bit of soft woodiness. The main star is that super creamy dose of coconut, and the co-star is the fresh lavender. And combining the two in this way is fantastic, but it's definitely not a complex scent at all. I've worn it multiple times since I bought it, and sometimes it really feels like the lavender balances up that creamy dose of coconut in a fantastic way, but sometimes it really feels like the coconut is pushing the lavender to the background. Purple Melancholia surprised me in two ways. Number one, on my skin, it actually lasts quite a while, and the performance is actually better, at least on my skin, than some of the other ones in the line. Number two, and again, this is on my skin, the coconut stays for quite some time. And comparing the main star in Purple Melancholia, which is the coconut, against the main stars in Powerfully and Iced Cologne, it actually lasts longer. And like I mentioned in my full video, while it does have coconut like the Le Beau fragrances, it doesn't have the vanilla like the Le Beau's have, and these don't have the intense aromatic side that Purple Melancholia has. Le Beau Editis mix of freshness, coconut and vanilla with a bit of sweetness does take it in a different direction. Le Beau Le Parfum is a lot more nuanced and, at least to my nose, has a lot more layers to it compared to Purple Melancholia. And you can't even compare Purple Melancholia to Le Beau Paradise Garden, which is without a single doubt a lot more intensely fresh with a more nuanced kind of freshness, and again a prominent dose of vanilla that Purple Melancholia really doesn't have. So which one is my absolute favorite? At first I thought it would be super hard, but when comparing them side by side, I actually quickly realized that while I think SWY Iced Cologne smells great, it does lack quite a bit of the depth and excitement that the other two have. It's currently one of the absolute freshest, the Wiser Wise. It smells really good, and it's definitely going to be part of my sort of everyday kind of easy to wear scents. And I'm happy I bought it. But these two, Purple Melancholia and Armani Stronger with You Powerfully, are definitely without a single doubt more exciting scents. So I'm putting SWY Iced Cologne in third place, and among these it's my least favorite. So I went back and forth for hours, and I'm not kidding, with Purple Melancholia on one arm and Armani Stronger with You Powerfully on the other, trying to decide which one I think is the best. And this was not easy. One moment I had Armani Stronger with You Powerfully as the winner, the next I caught a whiff of Purple Melancholia with that gorgeous creamy dose of coconut and the lavender, and changed my mind, and then back again to Stronger with You Powerfully when I caught a whiff of that gorgeous cherry. And honestly, when I sat down to do this video, I still had not made up my mind. They are so different, and it's basically cherry versus coconut. I think both are quite unique notes, and what I mean with that is that, at least in my collection, I really don't have a lot of fragrances with the scent of cherry to them, and the same thing with coconut. I actually wish I had more fragrances with both cherry and coconut, and both are notes that, when done right, I'm absolutely addicted to. I almost want to call it a tie. However, there was one arm that I put my nose way more frequently on when doing this comparison. I just couldn't stay away. And that arm was the one with Armani Stronger with You Powerfully on it. So there you go. On third place, SWY Iced Cologne. On second place, the creamy coconut Purple Melancholia, and my absolute favorite is Armani Stronger with You Powerfully. Now I would really like to know how you would choose between these three. Which of these three do you think is the best and why? Let me know in the comments. Please drop a like and subscribe for more. Make sure you check out my full first impressions of all these three, and I'll see you on the next one.